Shit the bed. Well, howdy, folks. Come on in. Well, from the looks of them fancy britches and sassy little hairdos, y'all ain't from around here, are you?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Epic channel. We are back once again for episode 21. Before we get into the episode, please like, subscribe, and hit that sweet bell notification if you like the content. With that being said, let's get into episode 21. We have our very special guest here today, Jason Kuhl, goes by Shadow Collector on social media. So if you want to check him out, he has a YouTube channel, Instagram, and Facebook. But I'll let him introduce himself and talk a little bit more about it. What's going on, Jason?
Not much. Thank you for having me here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and like you said, we can find you on...
Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, so all the normal platforms.
TikTok while it's around, huh?
Right, while you can still use it. So.
You're all blowing up finally. TikTok.
We'll drop the Instagram and YouTube channel on the bottom. So we've known you for quite a while now. The shop's been around. It's like four years and some change. You came in pretty early, right? Like
like 2022, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, just like a year or so after I think you guys opened, we just came across your guys' Google page, I think, and then in the background, there was Monster High Dolls, which my wife is obsessed with. So I was like, hey, this shop I never even heard of. And then we came by there, and yeah, ever since then, it's always been warming feeling to come here and hang out with you guys and chat it up. Yeah,
and we actually started off because you were into wrestling, you were into like the DC kind of Batman, McFarlane stuff, but you're also a really big horror fan, kind of similar to a lot of our likings around here.
Yeah, no, it's fun to always come here and just talk, especially like horror movies. You don't find that too much out here, really, people that are in depth into the horror type genres and stuff and talking about, those type of movies, obscure titles that nobody ever hears of. So it's nice to find people that actually know those type of movies.
Yeah, that's cool. We'll get into that a little bit more. I know Jason's going to have some questions for you. I just wanted to ask so that way the viewers can kind of find out a little bit more about you, since this is our guest first that we're going to ask this question. How did you get into collecting?
More recent. I've always been collecting, like, since I was a kid, but I guess more like, first of all, when you have a job, you can actually supply the collecting with. That's always nice nowadays. But just, I don't know, just movies I've always collected since early 2000s. I can remember buying DVDs at Best Buy all the time and stuff now. And then as they've been coming out with these figures and lines that are stuff from like nostalgia past, it's kind of just wants you to make you want to recollect that type of stuff maybe you didn't have as a kid, or you want to create that memory and bring it back and have it as a kid. So just bringing all those memories back.
So you would say like nostalgia, kind of
exactly.
just getting a taste of maybe yesterday and then bringing it. Yeah. That's cool.
And then the collecting stuff too, how long you been into like wrestling too? Because you're kind of would you say you're a big wrestling?
Yeah, I follow on a weekly basis. Yeah. Since the mid '90s, I've watched wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
Not super far back, but
that's the heyday though. On some
it
of
is,
stuff,
yeah. I stopped watching during the dark times of like WWE, like those mid to like 2010s, and then started picking it back up. Funny enough, when the CM Punk pipe bomb happened, that got me back into it. Like, I was like, who's this guy? He's just like dropped all these bombs on the world, and like that got me back into it. And then he leaves like 2 years later.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's kind of how I was. Like, I'd watch it for like a couple years, and then I'd like fall off, and then kind of catch back up on it. And now I'm into it, but I can't say I watch it weekly. I watch more of like the YouTube stuff about it.
Yeah, the highlights.
Because I just don't have the time. Sometimes I don't have the interest. I mean, there's some good stuff out there right now, but sometimes I can't like
5-6 hours a week of television can be a lot.
It can be. So you collect wrestling stuff too though as well, or mainly?
Not really.
I know you have the shirts and stuff all the time.
Yeah, like when the whole Bullet Club thing was a trend, like it was cool to own those shirts, so I kind of got into that fad. And then Kevin Nash was my biggest, like, I was the biggest fan of him as a kid.
Oh, okay.
So he's probably the only guy I actually collect stuff of. Like, I have a little shrine, as you call them, of like Kevin Nash figures and stuff. So
yeah, that is right, because I think you picked up a couple things from us possibly. I remember. Yeah, some Kevin Nash stuff. And then also you said you're not going to WrestleMania, but you are going to be out there
in the vicinity.
Vegas.
Yeah, we booked a hotel like back in like last summer
Okay.
when they announced it was gonna be in Vegas, and we booked a hotel for super cheap, and then sure enough when they saw ticket prices, we go, yeah, I don't know about that. It's like nosebleeds are like $1,000-$1,500, and that's for 2 nights, but that's out of the question. But there's gonna be WrestleCon there, which is a big wrestling convention. There's gonna be watch parties. We already bought tickets for a watch party that Jake the Snake Roberts is gonna be at one of them there, like hanging out with everybody. Danhausen's the other night, so that'll be fun just to hang out there with those guys and watch the show there with other wrestling fans. So
You didn't pay for the suite with Hulk Hogan? You didn't do that one?
no, I saw the one that was like, what was it, like John Cena, like have dinner with him or something like that for
you
like
and,
$25,000
or whatever.
Yeah, you probably get like one question each sort of thing. No,
they had the suite. It was with Hulk Hogan, I think, but I think they ended up pulling that. I don't even know if they sold that.
Yeah,
one.
I don't know. Then we want to hang out there.
Yeah, but I think you're doing it right, because I think that's the way to do it. Go for the the wrestling stuff. Get meet people there, do the meet and greets, and then like the watch party is going to be pretty fun. I would think. Like,
yeah.
And you don't have to pay the $1,000 for nosebleed and still get the experience. I think.
Right, exactly. If I'm going to spend that much, like I'd rather be like, I went to WrestleMania when it was here 15 years ago, crazily, and it was $250 for floor seats. I got.
Yeah.
15 years ago. Now it's like, wait, I can't even get that for up in the nosebleeds. So then I don't want, if I'm going to go there, I want to have an experience. I don't want to just go to just because I went sort of thing. So
it's kind of one of the hottest like WrestleManias in a while though too. I mean,
it
not to justify the price, but I mean it's definitely a hot ticket, and it's in Vegas, so everything in Vegas is always going to be
marked up.
Yeah, marked up bigger. Yeah, it's cool. I'm interested to see how it plays out with the WrestleMania with the storylines. I hear each day is going to be 9 hours. So if you count
saw
the pre-show and stuff,
I was like, whoa, so glad I'm not
test.
going now.
Yeah, because a friend of ours of the shop too, he's gone when they started doing the 2-day events, and he says that second day is kind of rough. Yeah, because you're already doing all the other stuff, doing the first day, and then now you got the next day, and it's like you're sitting through all this stuff. Like you said, you can only consume so much wrestling, I think. So
yeah. Well, and I was initially more interested in going if The Rock was going to be wrestling on it, and now it's pretty much a certainty he's not. I'm like, okay, good. I'm glad I didn't spend the money, because he's one of the guys I never saw as a kid actually wrestle. Oh, yeah. So I'd be like, okay, if I got to see one person, I could say I saw him at least once, but he's not wrestling. Okay, cool. I'm glad I didn't spend the money.
Yeah, you've seen John Cena before?
He was here in 2010, at the Mania
here.
He
would have been,
yeah,
so he was kind of in the midst of his stuff.
Yeah. That was for the WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So wrestling, and then the horror stuff. You do the 31 days of horror in October, which I always look forward to.
Me too.
They are pretty cool. I like how you do like the random
spinning wheel.
Yeah. I usually take all my horror movies I own in collection. I throw them up on those free wheel spins on the internet, and then just spin it in the morning. Like I do a quick little story on Instagram about it, and then kind of make a little bit of a mystery, not seeing what it will be, and then that night I'll actually talk about what movie I watched for that day. So for 31 whole days. So
here's another question: how many horror movies do you have in your collection that you're putting into that algorithm or the wheel?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, probably a few hundred.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just horror.
Yeah, just horror. Just has to be specifically horror. Sometimes fun movies I'd funny if I thought just by the title it was a horror movie. It's movies I never heard of, and then I look at it, I'm like, oh, this is like some kind of romantic thriller. Like that's kind of
that could be a horror sometimes.
Yeah, it might be horrific to watch, but no, that was it's kind of fun. I used to actually do it where the rule was I had to watch movies I'd never seen before. That made it more fun and challenging. And most of it was Netflix, like because Netflix is in its heyday on streaming. So that's how I found about like Zombievers and like some of these other like B-rated horror movies on Netflix that were just like really actually pretty fun to watch. So. And then now with all the physical media, kind of more my emphasis, I was like, I'll start just focusing on those. So,
yeah, I remember that because you say you'd buy these and you just like sit on them, like, you haven't watched that one yet? You're like, no, and then you'd watch it around. If it landed on it, then you'd get a chance to watch it. But yeah, they're always fun to watch. Sometimes I'm surprised there's stuff that you haven't seen, but then I'm like, yeah, there's age difference too. So we won't say, but yeah. So only DVD and Blu-ray. You don't do VHS.
No, I mean VHS are so expensive to try to find and collect. I have some horror movies on VHS, but they're more like display pieces, just kind of like a little silhouette backdrop I have, but not like in terms of actual physical ones I watch. I have a VHS player still, but that's cool. I don't really use it that much.
Yeah, I need help because I just bought like 250 VHS in the last like 3 days.
Okay.
Insane.
Yeah, I'm like, man, somebody stop me. Same thing. There's
For
a
your
couple.
personal collection, or
No,
like,
I mean I'm gonna sell them. There's a few like same thing like you. Like I'll have a few just to display. I do have a VHS player, but usually I'm not gonna. If I'm gonna watch something, it's gonna be on like Blu-ray or streaming if I can get it. Like VHS is just cool for nostalgia, but they're more for display. Like you said,
Right.
the box art on them is pretty cool, and they are expensive. The horror stuff gets pretty out there. I did buy a Dawn of the Dead one like last month for my collection just to have it because I have it on DVD and Blu-ray now, thanks to Edgar. 4K. Still haven't watched it yet. I need to watch that 4K one. But yeah, so no VHS. But yeah, I need to stop with mine. But you get out of hand with the DVDs though. You said 200 that you haven't watched, or that's just the horror stuff.
That's just the horror stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably have a total of like 500 or 600 movies I have now watched, but I've purchased over the last. Well, the pandemic, we had nothing to do, so we were going to thrift stores, and I never discovered about buying Blu-rays at thrift stores for a few bucks, and then I just. We weren't doing anything. We're working from home. So I was like, well, I got movies I can watch. I'll just start buying movies. And then that escalated very fast.
And then is that when you said Amy collects too? Is that when she was into it, or she was already into collecting too?
She started to get collecting right around just before the pandemic. Some of the more like current stuff, and then when the Monster High stuff started re-releasing, she started jumping on that, and then started buying like lots, like on online markets, and stuff like the bulk collections. And then it's like if you're not traveling, you're not doing anything, you might as well. At least it's an investment, Worst case scenario, you resell it someday. Yeah, and now I know like when you're out and about, you always send her pics if you find like stuff. Does she know kind of what you're looking for? Do you get it like in return, or is she not sure? It's most stuff I already have 90% of the time. Like there's that bit out of like Big Bang Theory. I don't know if you ever seen it, where like on the show, but they're like in the comic book store and they're like got it. That's me with movies. I'm just like got it. So I don't even ask her to look for me. Like her stuff, I have no clue. So I'm always just like, here's a pic, and then tell me if you got it. Yeah, I know you'll be at the show and you see someone, you're like, I'm gonna take a pic and see if she needs it or whatever for the dolls. I was just wondering if it was the other way around. Yeah, sometimes. That's cool though that you both like collect and can hunt together too. That's always cool. Mm-hmm. Like even if it's not the same interest, it's kind of like still like you can look at your thing and she can for sure do her thing, and you kind of get out and about and see what you can find. Yeah.
Both parties are willing to go and excited. Not one is like, can we go home? Are you done yet? Both have interest of being out. How many DVD, Blu-ray do you think you have in your collection?
My Blu-ray?
Just both.
Yeah, I have like
both in general.
Blu-ray's like 15.
100?
No, 15.
Oh.
And how many do I need to pass?
6. 100.
What?
600. You need 600 to pass. You got 6.
15.
That's what I think.
I was like, you up there.
No, it's very limited. Like I select on what 15. I get. Because I did that back in the early 2000s. I was buying it every week because they would come out with new releases. I was buying DVDs up like crazy. Yeah. And it just got out of hand. I had shelves of that stuff, and I'm like, I'm never going to like keep rewatching.
What'd you end up doing with it?
I sold a lot of it. Took a lot of it to like
trade. You got trade and stuff. Yeah.
I sold it. Yeah, it just got out of hand because I used to do it with music too. I'd buy CDs every week too.
I could see that.
I don't want it to get like that again. So
it's an addiction, man.
So I got my 15. I mean, I'll probably add to it, but it's like the ones I know that are hard to like even find on like streaming.
Yeah.
I know I can go watch it. Like I got like Night of the Creeps. I could probably get it streaming, but it's probably
better to own it.
They're gonna charge you probably something. It's better. Dawn of the Dead, you never see that on streaming. So I'd like to get. I need to get the Friday 13th like box set too. One of these days, I need to fork out and actually get that just so I have it. But yeah, 15. How many? I know you guys got a lot of DVDs.
We got a lot. We have a lot. I don't even know the number. It's 2 bookshelves worth of stuff. But here's the funny thing about how we got into it. We would be out hunting for toys, and sometimes it'd be a bust. We'd be at a swap meet, or we'd be at some like estate sale or whatever, and no toys. We're a little kind of disappointed that we didn't find nothing. And all of a sudden, I would just start looking at the DVDs as just to waste time. And then I would be like, yeah, exactly. Or you'd find that one movie that was very nostalgic for you from back in the day. And you'd be like, oh, man, I'm going to buy this just so I could go home and watch it so I don't feel bad anymore because I didn't find anything. And that's where we got into. We had a lot more than what we did, and we purged a lot of it because we obviously started selling and we had about 6 bins in the back of just DVD Blu-rays that we had for sale, and a lot of them came to the shop, but we still have 2 large bookshelf cases full of DVD and Blu-ray.
Now alphabetized, or it was,
Now,
but
yeah.
you had to pull it all down, but now it's alphabetized.
They will be alphabetized, but we do have all the Jason movies, all the Friday the 13th franchise movies. We have, rare stuff, not like super rare. A lot of those we would sell, but we do have the ones that we like. That's pretty rare. Like it's not rare, but to me, owning Fire and Ice on Blu-ray is like a good piece. Yeah, I was kind of showing them off to you when you came in the other day. But it's fun just to find cool stuff.
Well, yeah, you
like
should
that.
collect what you like. Now, this might be worth some money, but if you happen to find one and you're like not into it, sell it.
Right.
Why not? Why not?
Especially the out of print. So to the viewers, OOP is the ones to get, especially if it's in horror. Anchor Bay, those are like really good ones to find.
Yeah,
and
Anchor Bay is good.
yeah, the DVDs that have the tabs that you pull off to the side and it's all like recycled paper. For some reason, those are.
Well, those were like the
usually-
first ones. That's how I used to have to get them with that little magnet thing.
Yep.
And they used to go for a lot more. Now they kind of just Blu-ray,
Snap case.
Blu-ray
Snap
case. There you
cases.
go, snap
Yeah.
cases. Yeah.
Yep.
But VHS, I probably have right now, but they are going to be for
About
sale.
200 and something.
No,
No,
like
like
1,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Maybe 1,000.
Yeah,
if I can.
cause I helped you move the anime ones, and that was
That was
like
like 8
close
boxes
to
of-
500, dude.
Yeah.
You know.
My shelves are full. I have
Yeah.
nowhere else to put VHS right now.
Yeah.
And I have like 13 copies now of Jurassic Park, I think. I just got a couple more this weekend.
Are you gonna be like that Titanic guy that's like trying to get all the Titanic
Yeah,
VHS tapes?
yeah.
You're gonna be Jurassic Park guy.
I think I might have to. It might be something. Might be my niche. Get that JP going. And what else is another one I have a lot of? Probably like E.T. For some reason, I have like 6 copies.
Really?
of
E.T.?
Mhm.
Wow.
Well, all the popular movies, like they're good movies, so they're they're mass produced.
Yeah,
So.
millions
And
of copies.
VHS, say if it came out in the 80s, they kept reprinting them through like 2005. When did they stop doing? I think it was like 2005. They actually stopped making them, even though they're making them again now for like new releases. But
Yeah, somewhere around that time frame. His first DVDs were like 2000-ish, 2001.
yeah,
2006 was the last year.
dang close.
Dang,
Thanks, Edgar.
yeah.
Fact check on the spot.
2006.
Well, DVDs were in the 90s, but they didn't really take over because they were kind of expensive. Because I got a DVD player, I think 2001, and then they were like $20 each every time a new release was out. I think something like that.
They're pricey depending on where you went. You go to like Virgin Records and they had them there. They were expensive though, but then you could find some good deals at like Best Buy or FYE, and a couple other places would have them on sale.
The
Yeah.
players I remember being really expensive when they first
Oh,
came
yeah.
out. When my mom finally got one, I actually still own and remember the first DVD I got. She picked up for me was Scary Movie 2.
Sick.
Yeah, I don't know
cool.
why. I was like, "Oh, picked up this movie. You're gonna go pick up a player," and like it was like $200 for that player
Yeah,
at that
that's
time,
about right.
2001. And
Yeah.
then I don't know, that was so cool. That you could change the menu and like hop around and stuff, like skip
Yeah.
a movie with
I know
the
that
button.
blew my mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
It's
menus
like-
and stuff, all the extras they would have on there. Like that's what I would get them for that stuff.
Otis, is the camera on? Yep, we're rolling. Hi, everybody out there in TV land. Welcome to the Baby Show. That's B-A-B-Y, for those of you that suck at spelling. Today on my show, I want to show you the special features. Ooh, yeah, look at all that fun stuff.
All right, what would you say is the rarest video copy that you have? It could be either VHS, DVD, Blu-ray. What's the rarest OOP out of print piece?
Probably like I was in Sedona at some random little mom and pop thrift shop, charity store, and they were like, it was this Blu-ray of it's like these puppet films from like the 30s and 40s, and they released on Blu-ray. The only I found you could buy it is the director, artist, creator that made it on his store online, and then when I scanned the comps for it on eBay, it was like $150, $200.
Whoa.
So I was like, I'm gonna take this and not say anything to this guy, and yeah.
What was the condition? Is it in good condition?
Oh yeah, it was perfectly clean. It's actually signed too on the front. I mean, and I looked at the comps and the front ones aren't signed. Now, granted, I didn't get it like authenticated to see if it's actually their signature, but like it's on the slip inside, the case and everything, like inside there with a Sharpie. Like you can tell that the ink kind of drips, so it's not like it's like printed or anything. So
Yeah.
if it's legit, then it's signed by the person too. I don't know if that makes it any more valuable. I never heard of it before,
Yeah.
but You know, it's pretty mind blowing. But you'll still find ones that are $20 to $50 here and there that somehow, some way, their Blu-rays are worth that much anymore. But there's people that'll pay for it. So
it's this. I could see it though. Like there's rare cassettes out there. There's rare records. There's a little, for people that collect. There's gonna be value of it in some way or another. So,
well, even CDs too. Like I've been clearing out my CD collection, and now I don't have anything to play CDs in since I got rid of my vehicle. So I was like, well, I'll start selling my CDs. And some of them are bands that don't create music anymore,
right?
Or the artists are dead, so they basically gone up in crazy value for their CDs. Or you get these small towns people live in, they don't have access to that stuff.
Exactly.
Like they want that CD, but they don't, have a local record shop or anything to go to and get it at.
Yeah.
There's a rare Snoop Dogg CD that has a song that they put out prior to them getting the clearance for a sample, and they had to take it all off the shelf, recall it, and that CD is worth over like $100 and some bucks.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's a Snoop Dogg CD.
Yeah, there's a lot of rare stuff.
Yeah, it's like a first press, but it has an extra song on there that none of the others will have, and it's because they couldn't get the clearance for the sample.
Yeah, that makes sense with the Blu-rays too, because they might have only put it out on Blu-ray, and that's the only way you can get it. So it's like that makes sense. Or DVDs where they only put it out on DVD, haven't done a Blu-ray yet.
Yep.
So DVD's gonna be expensive, but.
And everything gets edited too now.
Oh, yeah,
so it's like
too.
if you don't want stuff on streaming, it gets edited, especially a lot of censorship now of stuff that's not appropriate for this time period. Then it's like you're better off on the physical media side for that stuff.
For sure, even like with the wrestling stuff, they edit all that stuff. VHS or DVDs, like they edit a lot of that stuff on their channels. So it's good to have that stuff.
Bum fights go for a lot of money. Those go for crazy amounts of money, and I didn't know it. Shout out to AZ Desert Figs. He told me about it, and I was gonna just kind of like give him this stuff, and he's like, "Yo, those bum fights go for a good amount of money." So I need to bring them in still, but yeah, they go for like $100 and up on them.
Stuff's not allowed nowadays.
Yeah, yeah. We don't condone any kind of like just a disclaimer. We don't condone any of that. But if you have the DVD, it's worth some money.
Just so you know.
Yeah, just so you're aware.
All right, just switch gears on that one. So you're into horror stuff. I'm a horror guy. I like the horror stuff. What's like your favorite like horror movie or like franchise?
Probably Friday the 13th. I know we talked about it multiple times on here, but that's like the horror genre I got started in as a kid. I just remember watching, renting the VHS tapes and stuff behind my parents' back. But yeah, no, Friday the 13th. I always thought it was consistently like enjoyable. I don't feel like there's ever like a super bad one in that series. Like other movies, I feel like you can really tell the decline in them and just that they're running out of material. A close second I would say is Nightmare on Elm Street. I think that one's been pretty good too.
Yeah, those are good ones. Yeah.
Follow-up question: can you, off the top of your head, can you just say your top 3 Friday the 13th? You don't have to. No pressure.
I haven't watched them all in a while. I mean, I don't know how controversial it'll be, but like Freddy vs. Jason, because that was the first one I saw in theaters.
Okay,
I was a kid.
Yeah, it's the list.
Like the first one, I think it's classic, especially because this whole time you're thinking, no spoilers, but that you think the villain, even though it's
50, you haven't seen it by now,
50 years old almost now, like you think it's Jason, this whole time it's not. And then number 3, the hockey mask and everything like that. So
3D.
Yeah, that's my number 1.
Yeah,
part 3.
It's got the boogie banger.
But they're coming out with the Pamela Voorhees. Did you see that?
I saw that, and I'm like, I'm on the fence, but
we'll have
it's
it here
cool.
if you decide.
Always support local.
Yeah. No, it looks cool. I thought it looked good. You do most of the NECA stuff, though, right?
I do.
You're into like the NECA stuff because I see you do unboxings on that, which we're gonna do one in a little while. But I see you unbox a lot of like the NECA stuff, and you do like the McFarlane stuff too.
Yeah, McFarlane kind of. I initially got into it the DC multiverse stuff. I know McFarlane's been around for years, but the DC multiverse stuff just because that's my forte. So, and then when I realized that it's becoming like Funko Pops or whatever else where they're just pushing out, I was like, I can't keep up with this.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of like, all right, I'm only gonna stick to stuff that either is nostalgic to me or it's Batman because Batman's my main go-to for comic book characters.
And then you got to get all the Batman Earth. 1000.
Maybe some. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like they come in all these different variants, and then I'm just like, I don't know. It's hard to say, especially when they're $20-$25 a figure. That's I'm just gonna open them because I'm an out of box person. So.
Yeah. So speaking of Batman, what's your favorite Batman movie? Since we have you here.
Batman movie?
Well, movie, or you can even do Batman, like, just in general, like, comic book version, like, what's your favorite? But movie, you can do that, too, because we usually talk about movies. We've all done ours.
Yeah.
Have we done ours? No, we talked about it. We've never done a list of Batman yet, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, probably Batman Returns.
Dang.
I like the performances, like, that was the one I knew of. I actually can remember seeing stuff, because I was only 2, spoiling my age here, when the first one came out, but I remember being obsessed with it. But the 92 one, I was a little bit older, so I actually got to see it and everything, so I can remember it. And I don't know, I loved how dark it is. I love the set pieces and the production to it. It's just got this, like, more, like, it's more Tim Burton, I feel like, which I liked. The first one is more of a gangster film. The second one, it's, like, definitely got a Tim Burton vibe to it. And, of course, Pee Wee Herman's in it, which is awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome, yeah. And then, I know you're into, like, baseball, right? You're into Diamondback stuff too. Yep. Do you go to the games a lot too, or?
Not so much recently, but I watch all the games. They're on TV and stuff. If I have the time, if I'm able to, I follow the team along as best I can. Since I was a kid, so. Yeah,
I know. I tried to unload some bobbleheads on you, but you already had them all. Remember?
Yeah.
You're like,
I took all the autographs. I was all for those. Those I was perfectly fine having all those autographs. Those were cool to have.
Well, I'm glad they had a good home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I see him in your, I still see him in the background when I watch the videos and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. How many of the DTOFs, the clear cases for anybody that doesn't know what the DTOF is, how many DTOFs do you have?
6, I think.
6?
6 behind me. 5 or 6. Yeah. I bought them during the pandemic when they were still priced
75.
good, but they were just like kind of hit or miss to get in stock because everybody started buying them up for displaying their collections. And then now they're like $120 or something crazy.
If you could get it, I thought they stopped making them.
Well, yeah, this is like a different one they make now.
Yeah.
Like it's not DTOF, it's something else now. But like it's still, they're crazy marked up. So
they know that market is.
They're a pain to put together. I'll say that. I was like,
they are.
I was sweating bullets trying to put those things together on top of the lights and everything. But I'm happy with how it turned out. So
that's good.
Yeah, it looks good.
How many cases did you have to get for Amy's stuff?
She doesn't do cases. Yeah, she's got shelves. Yeah, she's got quite a bit of shelves. She actually uses the closet for one of the rooms as her just like
they're all in there.
It's all in there, plus like into the room going in there. So yeah, that's what I used to have at our last house. I used to use a closet because it's like, hey, it's a good display space,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's fun to display everything as best you can.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really collect, like, you collect for the space you have. Like, you're not buying stuff like, oh, eventually I'll do it, and then you have, like, just stuff in bins.
Right. No, I see people that would do that, or they would just buy the bulks. Yeah, or they buy them in the thrift, like, and then they just throw them in a bin and keep them in there, like, dirty and not cleaned. Amy cleans her dolls, like with shampoo and conditioner, their hair, like, she makes them look nice. And I'm
That's
like,
cool.
Yeah, she's brushing them, like, hey, no dirty figs in this house. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a saying around
used
here.
to have that.
Yeah.
No dirty figs.
Yeah.
Shout out to Diggs Figs.
We were gonna get stickers, maybe never did.
Yeah.
Moving on, we did have actually a question that you brought up, so I thought it'd be good. We can all like take a turn and go. But your question was, if you were a kid collecting toys today, what would be a brand or toy line you would be interested in collecting? So, being a kid, little James now.
Man.
Current toys, not.
You can't go back to classic or
yeah.
old stuff. It has to be the current stuff you go into Target or Walmart and see.
I mean, I would assume it would be something you were into when you were little.
So. I would have to say I think I would fall back on again. Like for instance, for me, it would probably be Transformers.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and just kind of give a little definition as to behind that. What they're doing now is really good. So it's like more articulation. They're still making the G1 stuff. So say I was a kid now and I had no. I didn't know what came from the 80s, the G1 stuff. You can get all of that stuff now, and it's more articulated. They're making them closer to the cartoon look. They're making them closer to the movie look with like studio series and all of these new series coming out. I think it's kind of like in its best time right now. I know G1s are imported in from Japan. So we were getting what they already had, but now we're in a point where it's like 40 years, and they have like, yeah, because 40 years was 1984, so 2024 was the anniversary for 40 years of Transformers, and that's pretty cool. I think it's like right now it's at a point where we're at a really good level.
So I better roll a line that you haven't collected before that you would. Yeah.
That I would?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a good one. And it doesn't have to be vintage. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Jada Street Fighter. That is the hottest toy out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So Jada's Street Fighter line is definitely something that I would do.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah. What about you?
Probably McFarlane, just because
Okay.
I was in the DC and comic books as a kid. So I think, yeah, the detail like you're talking about, that's articulation stuff in figures nowadays is so, cool. That's my comic book line there. I didn't actually collect really DC figures as a kid or anything, so kind of answers both those spots there. I'd probably go with McFarlane figures.
He did the superpowers too.
That's true, he did. Yeah.
So you would get the vintage as well as the new stuff and have best of both worlds again.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's not as old as us. So remember,
That's true.
there was no
That is-
superpowers when he was
I know when he
a
said
youngin.
when he said he was 2 when the first Batman movie came out, I had to think I was already old enough where my mom took us and I was we were waiting for that movie to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a senior in high school. No, just
I was 10.
You
I
look
was-
great.
Yeah, I was 10. I was 10 roughly because it came out in 89. I was born in 79, so I was 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what about you, Jason?
I was 10.
10.
No. Mine would be Marvel Legends right now. And going back to that, in the 80s,
Okay.
they only had Secret Wars.
Uh-huh.
And that was a really short line. And I liked them when they came out, but then after that, there was nothing until like the early 90s.
Yeah.
And by then, I was already
Out.
not playing with toys. I was into other stuff.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
So I'd be excited, though, now, like if I was a kid, like to just have all the superheroes because they're making everything, too. So.
Yeah.
And what about if you, not one from the past, but something that's out current that was not out back then?
Marvel Legends. Because technically it wasn't out.
It's
like,
true. Yeah, it's true. What about a new line?
A new line?
Yeah, that's just out like in the past, 10 years.
Yeah, let me think. New line. Man, because there's nothing that I look at and I'm like, wow, that's cool. You got me there. I mean, it would have to be now, like any of the NECA like horror stuff for sure.
Okay.
Ultimate stuff.
Yeah,
Just
NECA's
because
are
same
cool.
thing. There was nothing like that even then.
Closest was
Even if it's older
McFarlane.
property. Yeah, even that though, I was like, well, I started buying some of that.
I was
stuff
collecting
because
that. Yeah.
I just liked it. I was like, this is cool to put on a shelf or something. So I was buying the McFarlane stuff.
Yeah.
Early on, but yeah, probably have to be that. I can't think of anything else I'd really be like into because everything that I would be into is stuff that was old anyway. So
It's true. It's
cycle back because if I said like Motu, like they have the new stuff now, maybe, but then that's the stuff I was into when I was little. So
I was thinking
Or
since
G.I.
you
Joes.
said Legends, I was thinking you would have said like SH Figure Arts, Mezco, the one like some of the.
no, because I wouldn't collect them because of the price point, honestly, and I want to play with them.
That's
Like,
right.
Yeah.
You
want
are
something-
supposed to be a kid.
Yeah.
Never
Well, remember, the parents
you
are
have no
hopefully
money.
paying for these, so
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about the spending on it.
But still, though, I wouldn't need. I don't care. Like when I was younger, we didn't have everything wasn't articulated. Like now, everything's about articulation. I'm still about like sculpt and if it functions somewhat and it looks like the character, it looks cool. That's what I'm into.
Yeah.
You want some posability, but I don't need like I don't know. I don't need all
maximum.
this
You don't need maximum
like,
Yeah.
posing and
posability.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'd be curious the durability of stuff. I mean, obviously, again, I take these out and I don't play with them, but even just when you're trying to pose some of them, the durability is kind of very
It's
like.
not there.
So I can't imagine
Yeah.
kids playing with them and stuff and just yeah.
They
If
break
they're
them all
coming
the
with-
time.
Yeah, if they're coming with warnings that you have to heat it up before you can play with it, it's kind of like really like. And then NECA was trying to pull that, saying that they weren't toys, they weren't meant to be played with. But then on the box, they'll be having some crazy poses. You remember when NECA was doing that? People were complaining because they break like right out of the box.
Oh yeah, they make it look like so easy and cool on the box, and then when
Yeah.
you try to do that, their arm snaps off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, like I said, some of them do come with warnings. Like they already know the issue. Like you got to heat up the elbow joint before you try to bend it, or else it's gonna snap.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you should have figured that out in production, probably.
I would say the quality of the like plastics and the chemicals that they're using to produce the toys, they're a lot way less. Where in the 80s they were using a lot more petroleum and metal back then, and that was where the durability was coming from. And then where we're at now, a lot of those things can't be used just for like laws of like,
Yeah.
not destroying the planet.
Well,
So
it caused
Yeah.
cancer.
yep, that too. Yeah.
It was cool in the 80s, different times.
Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3.
All right, Jason. So on your YouTube channel, how did you get into that? Because you've been doing it for a while, and we watch your channel. We follow you. Whenever you post things, I get notifications. I'm always checking them out and
Hit that bell.
Yeah, hit the bell notification. And how did you get started on that? Like, did you go to school, or is it something you just picked up on the side? And then also, you're making content all the time by yourself. Like, how does that? How does that drive keep going for you, for the people that are watching?
Yeah, I went to film school out here in Tempe, so that was my intentions, to get into some sort of job, which didn't pan out. But it is what it is. It was something actually I've realized I was passionate about beforehand, going into high school and stuff. So, but then turning it into just, to me, it's always about like doing it not for the numbers, not for the views, not for the subscriber count. It's just do it because you want to do it and because you have fun doing it, and that's what matters most. But just. Yeah, I do all the filming, I do all the editing. I mean, on a given project, it might take an hour and a half, 2 hours between filming and editing it all in one shot. But just, it's fun just to do it, and just to kind of show things. I might be a little late on some unboxing of figures. It might be redundant, but again, it's for my sake, not necessarily just for trying to get a view out there or anything like that. So.
Well, yeah, that's the right attitude to have. Do it because you want to do it, and it's fun for you to do it. Not, oh, I need to keep putting content out because I want to get monetized or whatever. Or
Right.
I mean, that could be a drive for someone, but I mean, you should do something that's fun for you.
Absolutely. As long as you're consistent, that's
Yeah.
what matters most. As long as you have a consistency on your channel, that you have a video at least every week, or if not every other week, then people will know to come back and watch stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I feel like it's a fan channel. Like I tune in because I want to see what you're actively putting out. And then, your quality is really good too. So that's another thing that right out the gate, it was already like a good process that you were going with and stuff. So
That's the fun part of going back to your old stuff and seeing how cringy I call it, like your early videos, like mine I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
But
same.
man,
Yeah.
but like I was in front of my couch, I didn't use a microphone, didn't use lights, anything. I just put my camera on a tripod and I was using a ceiling fan light and just hit record, and I was talking about like a haul I got from like a toy show or something. And then I think it's funny because I remember I did a video on like that tall Batman figure, the '89 Batman I think I bought from here.
Yeah, the NECA one.
Yeah.
And like I did, and I think I tagged you guys in it. Next time I come by and you're like, I didn't know you did videos. And I'm like, oh yeah, I do videos.
yeah. That was how it
So,
started.
Yeah,
that was
that's how it kind of broke the ice of conversations
Yeah.
and stuff. But no, it's just fun to do. It's something different, and again, it kind of like the community is what it's all about, which is cool because people will come up and say they've seen me and something like that. So it's kind of like, oh wow, like everybody starts to know each other, and it's just fun
Yeah.
that everybody can know through social media and stuff.
That's right. That's what we're in it for too.
Yeah, community. Yeah, we're not like, oh, we're gonna get rich. This is gonna blow up. It's like we're just doing it. We like
Spreads the
doing it,
word.
yeah.
Yeah, spreads the what you're into. Somebody's finding interest in it. There's so much garbage out there, by the way, that you can just see, and it don't appeal to me. But when I know somebody and when I genuinely talk to you about things we're into, I like following the process.
Yeah, that's where you hit it. You're all in. It's not garbage. It's just not authentic, I think is what you meant to say. You're like, it's garbage.
There's a lot of garbage out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of fakeness, I think. I
Yeah.
would say maybe.
Yeah, so keep doing
Yeah.
what you're doing, man. We don't get to see you as much, obviously. The family has grown with you guys. Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah.
And we still get to watch you vicariously through the YouTube channel.
Today's our first birthday, by the way.
Oh man, congratulations. Happy birthday.
Crazy, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Thanks for
cool.
coming out here.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Hey,
spending
we
the day
celebrated
with
it
us.
yesterday,
I
so
know,
I
no,
got the clear today. So but yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, but no, it's fun. I'm glad I'm able to still get time. Like,
Yeah.
Shout out to my wife, Amy, for that.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, we have like even with her like talking about Monster High and other things like that. We were real heavy into Monster High as well too, so we would always relate on that level too. And even though we don't get it as much as we would like to, it's still cool to see like, you know, people in things that we're into and still going. Like,
he used to be the Monster High king, so
we
tell you the stories of.
I don't think so.
He used to comb their hair and everything.
Yeah, not as good as washing.
Braiding their hair, you know, everything.
He was combing hair and matching up stuff. I don't know anything about it. He was telling me because they were into it real heavy, and so when we get stuff in, I'd have him look, and he'd be like, "Yeah, that's not the right clothes and this and that."
Yeah, we actively. One day we found it. It was kind of on a whim, and I was like, these are really interesting. The looks of them look really, really modernized as far as like a Barbie and stuff like that. And so me and Tian, we got into them, and we were like, this is some new stuff. And the value of them at the time we found them was already extremely high. And that's how we moved into our house. Was we kind of put the first month's down payment was selling Monster High dolls. So we knew there was a really high collectability to it, and that was like our jump start on it. But yeah, we used to get the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. We would hunt down all the new stuff. But then it, just like anything else, they just start producing a lot of, you know, like a lot of stuff.
Now they're ending up at Ross's and the Burlington.
I know, that was sad. I was like, are they not popping like they used to?
They're not. One thing about Monster High that is unfortunate is they don't stamp the dolls to separate them from like the original release. The only thing that was different was the box. Yeah. But if you don't have the box anymore, then they're all the same.
Right.
So like if you have an original, like the first wave in box, I mean, they go for extreme amounts of money. But then they did a reissue that has like a different, slightly colored different box, and those aren't as valuable as the original ones. But yeah, Monster High is great.
See? Yeah. Monster High king. You know all the stuff about it. All right, yeah. So we want to get into an unboxing.
Jason brought something for the viewers to see, so let's get into that.
Paul DeMatt stars in his action-packed thriller featuring the special effects wizards from young Sherlock Holmes and Willow. Evil comes in all sizes, from the Puppet Master.
All right, we're going to get into unboxing. I'll let Jason take over since it's his item. He can let us know what's going on with it.
So yeah, this is a recent thing from NECA. It's the Puppet Master trunk case and Leech Woman figure. I brought some of the other figures that's supposed to go with this case here. But it's really cool because it's something just to kind of finally put all the figures. They have not that great a stance by them being on the mat here. So to actually put them in something like this as a display is a really nice kind of idea that they finally came out with for these figures.
Yeah, it is good because before it was just like the cardboard box that looked like the box, but it didn't really function right to do anything with it.
Exactly, and this actually has some weight to it and everything, so it's really nice that they actually like put some effort into this case and everything.
Yeah. And you haven't opened one yet? Like this is the only one you have?
Yeah, no, this is just the one.
All right, we're gonna crack it open then, or
yeah.
You got a blade?
Yep.
All right. He came prepared.
I always have one.
And then this one only came with the Leech Woman though, right?
Correct. Okay. Yeah, and then the other ones that have come out, I think they're usually like mostly
two packs.
So
yeah, because I saw her, but I thought it was just her by herself. I didn't know it was the trunk and stuff. So that is kind of cool now. They didn't really promote the trunk, which you think they would. At least the ones I saw, I think they would have pushed the trunk a little more. There we go.
It's got that fresh latex smell.
I'll this over here for now.
Alright, so there's each one there and all the extra pieces.
You want to check out her first?
Yeah, sure. We can go through her first there. I'm not sure if she's tied in or not.
And I guess these would be considered like 1/6 scale because they would scale with like your 7-inch figures since they are puppets.
Correct. Yeah, I would give them that. So no feet articulation, which is nice. Actually, with these figures, I don't think they ever should have done feet articulation because they probably,
Oh yeah, she stands good.
Yeah, that's the way they probably should have done with these guys.
Yeah, because this one I'm noticing is he has this weird, like, is he supposed to be floating in the air?
He's
like,
got the tippy toe going.
Yeah, he does.
I couldn't get those.
They don't go straight, huh?
No.
It's another one you got to heat up. Yeah, I was like, well, is he supposed to be a marionette?
Yep, exactly.
He has the tippy toe ballet action, so yeah, they definitely should not be articulating the ankles on.
But she's got the general arms head doesn't really turn or anything, but it's pretty cool. And then you got two alternative heads there. One with the mouth open, which is actually is in there. That's like a hole right there. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, where's the slugs got to be in there? Right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, they're right here. Yeah, there's a couple of them, so you can put those in there, and then that's just kind of like a little mouth open.
Looks a little wild like that. So this goes in the mouth?
That one might. No, that one goes in her hand. It looks like
okay.
the picture. Yeah. Oh no, here's the slugs. Yeah.
There's the slugs. Because they're like wet. Yeah, that's pretty gross. Definitely have to get a close up on that one.
Yeah.
That's nasty. It's not wet. It gives the.
And an alternative set of hands, and then a knife, and then these are just the shelf pieces for the.
Okay. You gotta build it. You kind of can build it how you want.
Assembly required.
Yeah. Is this all of them too right now? That's been because they did the 2-packs and just this, right?
There's 3 2-packs. Yes, I didn't bring
2-packs.
all of them. I forgot the other tiny. I think is the one with the small head.
Yeah.
Big buff guy, small head. Can't remember the other one that I didn't bring, but yeah, no, there's another one I believe too. So.
Okay.
But yeah.
No, that's the dude, right? With the big hands. He has the little head. Oh no, this is him. This. Oh, that is not.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. Oh no, he's right there. Yeah, that's yeah.
Driller head.
Driller.
Is his name just Driller?
That's not Driller. It's something else. I can't remember.
That is pretty cool though.
Yeah, and it falls apart. No, it's really cool. It's got some nice weight to it, which is really nice and everything.
Yeah, like the detail on the side and stuff. Like it's
Yeah,
they put a little effort into it.
A little glittery background and everything, and then some shell pieces. So again, to have I like when they're putting more accessories involved with these NECA figures, because when you get so many options, where do you put them and everything like that.
I used to throw all these guys in one case, right?
Right, especially all the extra hands and heads and everything like that. You can.
Yeah, because it looks like they have. Is that a little compartment that opens too, or no?
Those drawers, no, that's just an opening on it. But I mean, you can start with. Oh, right here.
Is there? Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, so there's a little
extra spot right there that you can put stuff into.
I was jumping ahead. Sorry, I saw it. I was like, oh, it looks good.
No, it's all good. It's still kind of plastic, so it's a little, a little wonky for being, It's on the higher price end. I jumped on it when Target had a $10 off coupon on toys and collectibles, so at least I got a little bit of a discount.
What was it running? Something like this, like regular price, not what you paid for. But
yeah, it was $60.
Really?
Think. Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe.
It's cool, but yeah, NECA, come on now.
Yeah.
That's cool. She's cool because she goes with the rest of them, but I mean, I don't see the $60.
They don't close clearly because of that, unless I guess you wanted. Well, I guess maybe this comes off.
Oh, you can't
so
close
you can
it with
shut
the
it.
face in there.
Yeah, so you probably have to take the face off there to shut it and everything like that. So, but no, I mean you can still easily put for a display and everything and then all the other heads and arms and everything. Yep, tippy toes can be right over on this here and hanging out and everything. So, yeah, no, I'm very happy when they do other things like this, a little bit oddball type pieces.
Is all this going on the shelf then?
It will
be. Got room for it on the D-tops?
Yep, that's right. Remember his name?
Yeah, he's Blade.
Yeah.
I think, and he's Torch. I'm pretty sure his name's Torch. Yeah, and then I don't know after that. And
6-shooter.
Slug Woman. Is it 6-shooter?
6-shooter. Okay. Yep.
And then Driller. We're going with Driller. Hit us in the comments. You know who he is. Yeah, well, cool. Thanks, man. Yeah. Definitely cool. If you're into NECA, pick it up. Still available probably at Target, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Wait for the coupons.
Yeah, wait for the coupons on it. Yeah. Does that count toward that? Like when they do the toy stuff too? Like you can get NECA stuff?
Yeah.
Good to know. I don't really get retail anymore, so because I get it all here for wholesale.
There
Except this I didn't get. So cool. Well, yeah. Thanks for bringing it by.
Mm-hmm.
It's our unboxing for the week.
His name was Tunneler.
I was close.
Yeah, well, these here are the scene selections. I mean, you can jump ahead right now. You can cozy up. You can pick your favorite little scene, just kind of like a greasy fat hog waiting for the knife. Sure, go ahead.
All right, everybody, that's going to conclude another episode of the Epic Toy Channel. This was episode 21 with our very special guest, Jason Kuhl, also known as Shadow Collector. Thanks again, Jason, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Great time. Remember, everybody, go back and hit subscribe and like all the notifications, and just keep watching the show.
And check out Shadow Collector.
That's right.
It's lunchtime already. Damn. You will excuse me, won't you? Well, thank you very much.